Hi guys, I'm Barb with Bows Against Child Abuse. And of all places that you could be today, I am so glad that you are here with me today. Today's story is heartbreaking. I haven't been able to find a great deal of information on this case, but what I have found, well, frankly, it pisses me off. Now, I read all the news articles, I watched all the videos, so you don't have to. Like I said, I didn't find a whole lot of information on the case to begin with. But imagine being a child who is hurt by the people who are meant to protect you. Now, a Kentucky couple, they were arrested in January of 2025, and they were charged with abuse after a child that was in their care showed signs of torture. They allegedly starved and tortured 3 children in their custody. Now, before we get into today's story, I would like to remind you that if you haven't already done so, please do me a favor and subscribe to my channel and hit that thumbs up button. It would help me out tremendously. I am trying to grow my channel and I would appreciate it. So, let's get into it. According to a complaint warrant, the Kentucky State Police were informed by school personnel of a child who had bruises here and there in December of 2024 after he returned to school following a winter break. He had chipped teeth and a busted nose. Now, these teachers, they were already having suspicions previously to this of thinking things may have been going on. So they were looking for him in hoping that he was okay. He was not okay. So, aside from the chipped teeth and the busted nose, he was pale, he was clammy, and he appeared very skinny. He was practically starved to death for 5 weeks. He was so malnourished, a doctor said if it would have gone on any longer, he would have died. Now, when the boy was asked what happened, all he would say was that he was packing wood and riding his bike. He wouldn't tell anybody about how he got his injuries. The complaint was followed up with an immediate investigation. The troopers say they found a room in the boy's house where one of the boys was held, and this room was referred to as the dark room. The door was locked from the outside, and the windows were boarded up. It only contained a mattress and a lamp in the corner of the room. The boy was taken from the home, and he later suffered cardiac arrest. Medical professionals treating the child reported that he was unable to tolerate solid food and displayed physical evidence of prolonged mistreatment and signs of torture. Now, the other 2 children in the home, they did not appear malnourished. Officials did compare the situation to torture, stating the couple, 42-year-old Mary Hall and 44-year-old Jerome Norman, who were the guardians of the children, they weren't doing this out of lack of resources. Officials emphasized the abuse was intentional and that there were no signs of drug use or anything like that going on within the home. Authorities say the children were forced to do manual labor and they were punished in several ways, including withholding food, with just the one child seemingly receiving the brunt of the abuse. They say this boy actually sucked the insulation in the walls trying to get water, that he was so thirsty. Can you imagine that? And the fact that that child even thought of doing that, he was so desperate. They also claim that the children allegedly were taught to hide the truth from others and that the child who received the most abuse was not allowed to go on trips with his class or to partake in cake or pizza or anything like that with his peers. While the child allegedly never disclosed abuse, the warrant stated that there were times the child was not allowed to eat at home due to discipline, and that teachers noticed that he'd often gorge himself to the point of throwing up when he was at school. A social worker testified about the lasting impact on the children, with an advocate saying they are unable to be placed in a home together because of their triggers and mental states. One child was hospitalized 5 times, suffers PTSD, ADHD, and has developmental delays. Now, imagine carrying that fear with you every single day afterwards, through hospitals, through foster homes, through sleepless nights. Terrible. Terrible for a child. Terrible for anybody. But imagine being a little child and just having to live through that. Over a year after Mary Hall and Jerome Norman were arrested and subsequently indicted, they were both sentenced to 20 years in prison for one count of first-degree criminal child abuse, 5 years for each count of second-degree child abuse, to run concurrently for a total of 20 years. Jerome also faces charges of fleeing police on foot, possession of a controlled substance, and prescription controlled substance not in a proper container, which doesn't make sense because they previously said there didn't appear to be any drug use, but yet he caught charges for that. So that doesn't make sense to me, and the only reason I'm telling you is because that's information that I found. Each of them must serve 85% of their sentence before they are eligible for parole. Now, during the sentencing, prosecutors explained that Mary took over guardianship of her sister's children after she died in a 2018 car crash. Her sister's got to be rolling in her grave to know that her children had been treated this way after she died. And it's a shame because not only did the children lose their mother, they also lost their father, who was convicted of some type of manslaughter, and he had gone to prison. Mary later moved to Pike County with the 3 children in 2023 when she began a relationship with Jerome. After attempts at mediation, the Commonwealth and attorneys for the defendants agreed on a blind plea for the duo, stating the details of the case would be too emotional for a jury to see past. This is what's called an Alford plea, which allows defendants to maintain their innocence while acknowledging prosecutors likely had enough evidence to secure a conviction. Thank God. Mind you, they had the absolute gall to ask the judge for leniency in their sentencing. Bullshit. Those kids, I bet, would have asked for leniency on how they were treated. These son of a bitches don't deserve a damn thing. Sorry. One of the authorities stated, "Our laws don't allow for cruel and unusual punishment even to prisoners." It's a shame because they should be treated the way they treated their children. So they'll never be subjected to the kind of punishment that they subjected the children to. He said the staff at the school deserves some recognition, saying the outcome could have been even more heartbreaking if they had not spoken up. If it wasn't for them, they may never have known anything was going on. Yeah, that poor child probably would have starved to death. That poor kid. But thankfully, somebody spoke up. And that's the next thing I want to say is please, 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 if you suspect anything at all, I don't care how small you think it is, how minute you think it is, or you think that it's just going to be ignored if you say something. Say it, and say it again, and say it again, because not enough is done in this world to punish the people that deserve to be punished. Anyway, that's all I have to say on this case. That's all I could find. Let me know what you think down below. Did this duo receive proper punishment? I don't think they got enough time, to be honest with you, but let me know what you think. If you have any ideas for any other cases, please put them down below. I'd be happy to look into them for you. And until next time, thanks for stopping by.